A day after ripping up his supply and confidence deal with Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh is speaking out. During an event in Toronto, the NDP leader shared his reasoning for the move, which opens up the possibility of an early federal election.
We've got a lot done, and we've got some important things that we completed. But it became very clear to me that Justin Trudeau is too beholden to corporate interests to go further, unwilling to stop big corporations that are ripping off Canadians.
Let's bring in our political reporters now. Glen McGregor is in Ottawa, Mark McAllister in Toronto. Glen, let's start with you. Is Singh walking a fine line here? On the one hand, he's saying the Trudeau government is selfish and weak and he can't support it any longer. But on the other hand, he won't say if he will topple the government. Can he have it both ways?
Yeah, I think we're expecting some answers from Jagmeet Singh today on why he chose to tear up an agreement that was producing some substantial results towards the New Democrats' priorities, things like pharmacare and dental care, and why he did it now. But instead, we got these kind of pointed attacks on the guy who was, until yesterday, his partner in the agreement, Justin Trudeau, casting him as some kind of elite. I think really what we have to do is kind of look at this at sort of the basic pure politics of this is that Jagmeet Singh sees that the Liberals and Justin Trudeau in particular are weakened political forces right now, running very poorly in the polls. Trudeau himself is very unpopular with voters, according to public opinion polling. So I think Singh sees this as an opportunity to present himself as the true alternative to Pierre Poilievre, hoping that voters are going to remember that when we go into the by-elections coming up later this month in Montreal area and also in Winnipeg, and also sustain that over into the next election, and whenever that could come, possibly as early as the spring, possibly not until next fall.
Okay, now, Mark, there are implications here for Premier Doug Ford. Sources have been saying that he may call an early election. He has not ruled that out himself, in part, though, because he'd like Ontario voters to go to the polls before the next federal election. And this could potentially put a wrench in his plans. As Glenn was saying, it could happen, perhaps, a federal election in the spring.
Yes, certainly, Cynthia. It's going to get interesting in the next little while. We heard Ford earlier this week saying he wouldn't rule out 2025 for election plans. He's given his PC MPPs a deadline for December to say whether or not they're actually going to be running for re-election at this point. So what's going to happen? He wanted, or at least the speculation is that he wanted to have an election here in this province before the federal election to try and get ahead of the game in case Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives get elected federally, so he could potentially take on the role again here in the province. There has also been speculation that perhaps this has something to do with the RCMP investigation into the Greenbelt scandal and wanting to get ahead of that. We do know that there is a caucus retreat going on in Collingwood this week. No doubt Doug Ford and the rest of his party is having a discussion about this as we speak.
All right. Well, thank you both. I think you're going to both be very busy in the coming months. That is Glen McGregor in Ottawa and Mark McAllister in Toronto.